Welcome back to Working Out with Will. Today we've got a fun one. It's going to be a beautiful range of motion, strengthening, but geared to be for everybody. We're going to start out nice and easy, just up and down with our toes. So we're going to ankle plantar flex, we're going to ankle dorsiflex. So with this, you can hold each time, hold, whether that's pushing the big toes down like you're stepping on a gas pedal, or bringing those toes up like you're just bring the toes up. So with that, bring it up as high as you can. Always get the most amount of effort in each of these repetitions. It's super easy to think that all I'm doing is going up and down, but really emphasize these muscles. So we're trying to dig into that anterior tibialis. We're trying to dig into that calf and that soleus. So from here, just make it work for you. And then from there, we're going to put both hands on our knees. From there, if we're stuck in the chair, can we push up? If we're stuck, let's just try to reposition the posture. This one's just a fun one, because if we're stuck here, I find myself reading or on my phone, I forget. So I like to ground myself. I like to put my big toes into the ground, and I like to push through my knees to help me get up. So it's a little bit of a pelvic tilt. From here, I'm just getting a little bit of my pelvic floor muscles to work. I share pelvic floor because I just had a bout with prostate cancer. I had my prostate removed. I had a prostatectomy. And with that, I have to rely on my pelvic floor. So this little motion, this hip motion, is so pivotal in all things. So as we start to open up that spine, as we start to get it moving, it's almost like we're a jellyfish in water. We're trying to get as much play in our spine as we can. So after you get that, go ahead and play around and try to get as much movement in that spine. And then we'll move on to hands on the knees. We're regrounded. Now we know what it feels like to have a nice tight stomach. Sitting up straight, attention. Now what we'll do is we'll push down into our left knee, bring up the left knee. Push down into our right knee and bring up that right knee. So pushing down, this is a little bit of manual resistance. So you can work with what you have. And if you can't tolerate that, go ahead and slightly hover and come straight up. This is just a little bit of a hip flexion exercise. Really good for anybody. If we're stuck seated, just a beautiful way to work our hip flexors, work our quads. So again, if you want it a little harder, go ahead and grasp that left knee with your right hand and push through. So then we get a little bilateral movement. We get some opposite core work. We get our obliques firing. We get our core firing. We just get a lot of bang for our buck. So the more that we can just work as many things as possible, the stronger we're going to get. From there, we re-solidify. We're going to bring our arms up as high as we can. Again, I like to bring the fingers together. We'll go up as high as we can. If this is where we're stuck at, that's perfect. But we're trying to get up as high as we can. As we do that, we're just going to go right to left. Right to left. And if we struggle with our shoulders, can we give ourselves a hug? If we can't, Grabbing the elbows might be nice. So we're just gonna go side to side. As we go to the right, the left comes up. Letting our spine work in different ways. Normally we're so stuck in this linear plane. So the more we're stuck in this seated position, the more that we can't globally rotate our spine. And when we don't do that, that's when injuries happen. So again, I like to share my story all the time of just going through a bad car accident. I broke my T2 to my L5 vertebrae, and I had to work myself all the way back. So you can, as you get better, if it's side to side, then you can even add in a little bit of a global component. So if you go down to the right, all the way around, just knowing that that lumbar spine just wants to move. It doesn't want to be stuck in one fixed position. So different ways to play with it, but I like you to do as many reps as you can in the sense of, does 5 feel good? Does 10 feel good? And you'll know the number. If you're with a group, come up with a global number. From there, we're gonna continue on. So we got our spine ready to move. What we're gonna do now is go back to our shoulders. So with our shoulders, all we're gonna do is we're gonna go all the way out as far as we can, as straight as we can. And with that, maybe you're stuck here, that's okay. We're gonna open those hands up and we're just going to come in and out. And as we continue to do it, we're gonna come higher and higher, trying to be the biggest force of nature. As we're here, we're trying to feel as much extension and flexion as possible. So again, even if you're here, that's okay, but let's feel it all. I have a grandpa that I took through these same exercises, and it was the most joyous time. So I love giving back and just knowing that, hey, this will be me in a few years. So the more I do this, no matter if I'm 20, 30, 40, or 50, in my 70s, 80s, 90s, and 100s, it's gonna pay off. So we'll do a few more. Again, just feeling as much as we can, almost like a jellyfish, just in and out. And then we relax. We'll bring out our balls. Really, we don't need anything. I like these just for that stimulus. If I can squeeze something that I know that my forearms are firing, my biceps are firing, my triceps are firing. From there, we're just going to bring both shoulders up and forward. Bring both shoulders up and backwards. Up and forwards, up and back. Up, forwards, up and back. I always love to say something nice about myself when I'm doing these because, hey, these are important. We're just moving our body with emphasis. Our shoulders, they elevate, they protract, they elevate, and they retract. You can even go right to left, right to left, forward and back. Just ways to synchronize the body. Ooh, perfect. Then we'll come back to the neutral position. If you don't have a ball, that's perfect. If you have a ball, let's squeeze them together. If it's just your hands, squeeze those together. This is a little bit of an isometric contraction. From there, we're gonna squeeze them, come up and down. Squeeze them, come up and down. The more that we squeeze, the more that we'll have an abdominal contraction. It's gonna look different for each and every one of us, but that's the fun. The more we can push the balls together or push the hands together, no matter what, you're going to get a great workout. We'll get our pecs involved. And again, if it's just here to here, that's okay. It's an isometric contraction. If your shoulders want to bow in, that's okay too. Maybe we put the ball behind our back, or we put a pillow behind our back and allow us to retract back, come up and down. And then the last thing we'll do, I love this one for the dexterity of our fingers. We oftentimes don't really do these, but we're going to bring our thumb to the pinky, thumb to the ring finger, thumb to the middle finger, thumb to the index finger. And we just continue to go through those. It's a fun way to test the brain, test the body, and to gain a little bit of coordination. Because then from there, no matter if we're writing, reading, anything, we're getting back some finger dexterity. So good for grabbing, so good for writing. And as we get better, we start to go faster. As we go faster, we have to think a little bit harder. You guys did an incredible job. Let's make it a great day. I'll see you next time.